Thank you, everybody, for joining us every single month. This is Leveraging Market Stats to Boost Your Business series. We're going to go over the official stats that are being released to the media today, so you guys are getting it first. It's more than just stats, right? It's talking about where's the state of the market, a lot of things going on with the condo market. So many more details that we're going to help you to make more deals. And I always say this because I learned so much. So if I'm learning a lot, then you guys must be as well. Okay, all right, Eddie. So let me go through. These are the top indicators from the three major counties. Then I'll ask you a question. This is what we saw looking at the data. 1 million and up condo sales, double digits up. And then ultra luxury again is taking off. And here's Broward County. 1 million and up condo sales are up. You can see a trend. This was also interesting. The new pending sales up across the board. So that's uh, teller of future sales. And then we have Palm Beach County here as well. So Eddie, going back to Miami, when I get to Miami, 1 million up condo sales are up. And then when you look at, 30-year and older condo units, they have essentially the same median value as a year ago. Um, and there was an article that compared Miami older condos to classic cars, and that there's a demand for older condos. What is your take, given all the new laws going for older condos, what is your take on the future of older condos in South Florida?
I think the future is bright for the older condos because, older condos are built in the initial prime locations, right? So they built those condos in those locations because those were prime locations, and they still, in many cases, are still very much the prime location. I love the classic car analogy, and I think it's on point. I think what's going to happen now is you're going to see those older condos who may have had some lag in maintenance issues and may not have had reserves. Now there's going to all eventually, in a very short span, all these buildings are going to be retrofitted, updated. They're going to be, and all the reserves are going to be in place. So now the financing issues that we've had in the past, even before this the Surfside collapse and all these changes that came as a result of that. I mean, now those reserve issues are no longer going to be the case because condo associations can't do reserves anymore. So we're going to have a more resilient and better managed associations that are and more financing supply. So I think it's going to be a good thing. That is condos is our affordable housing. That is what is affordable in South Florida, and I think there's a lot of upside to be gained there for sure.
Yeah, I love it. And then so we're putting out a news release to the media as we speak. They're going out now. And in there I have a stat. Just 0.9% of South Florida condo buildings are approved for FHA loans right now.
Yeah.
So if we could get that number to increase, that's amazing.
Yeah, but even the conventional financing, right, where you need to have a 25% down payment now if you don't have the right reserves. Well, now that whole no reserves is not going to be an issue. All condos are going to have the adequate reserves, and when those reserves are in place, then you can buy with 5% down conventional, 10% down conventional, 15% down conventional. So that really opens up the door for a lot of people to come in with a lower down payment. Lot of good things to look forward to in the old condo market space.
Yeah, those very good points. I love it. Okay. All right, so let's move along here. Mortgage rates. Eddie, we have a little bit of breaking news. I know it happened maybe happened last week, but the Fed actually made a cut, the first cut of 2025. And then our chief economist, Gabe Crortone, if you're not following her, you should be. She does economic insights. She says we could have 6% rates, I think, next year. But this is good news for our market, right?
I think it is good news. There's no doubt about that. And 6%, below 6% is like supposedly this magic number. But I really would like encourage our Realtor members to really get off the whole interest rate bandwagon. You know, I think that the focus point on interest rates is should be moved away from getting people to understand that you can buy down interest rates. You can you buying real estate long term is a good thing, and paying rent is paying 100% interest, right? So that's the way I look at it. So I don't understand why everybody's all worked up about the interest rates, like something magical is going to happen. I'm no doubt. I recognize that when interest rates come down, it'll make things a little bit easier. But I think that realtors are kind of sitting back. I say go forward, make those contacts, get people into houses. Because I mean, I've been around doing this for a long time, and 6%, 6.5% is still well below the average of 8%. And we saw rates, in the low teens at some point, even in the high teens. Some people saw those. I didn't, but I saw very high, very low teens, high 8, 9, 10% interest rates. So in my career, so I think we should just move off the focus of that. Focus your buyers on, can they afford the payment? That's the question.
Hmm. Yeah, that's super interesting. Maybe we are making too much of a. Do you think realtors are, maybe some of the newer realtors kind of using that as an excuse that, that they're not making deals, and it's all about networking and building your contacts, right?
I mean, I don't think it's all about either one of those, but I think that if you just too wait focus, like, well, I'm going to wait for interest rates. When interest rates drop, everything's going to be great. Well, not really. I would say just go out there, make the contacts, learn how you can buy down interest rate. I mean, you can get a seller to take a $10,000, $20,000 adjustment off their price and give that to a buyer as a concession. That buyer can use that to pay down the rate, and there they go. Boom, they're now in the sixes. So, I mean, below the sixes. So it can be done. There's just ways to do about it. Just learning those ways. What I'm saying is, let's not be hyper focused on this magical moment when interest rates hit a special point where everything's going to get easy again. It's not. We're coming off of a high of selling real estate in 2022 when it was like going 1,000 miles an hour, and now we're going, fast, still very fast, but not 1,000 miles an hour, and we just have to adjust to that.
Yeah, wow, that's really good. Thank you, Eddie. That's awesome. Okay, and so let's talk about buyers that don't need mortgages. A lot of these are all cash. This is ultra luxury real estate sales, and this is something that we saw, I think last month. They are projected to have you just mentioned 2022. This is on pace to be the second most ever behind 2021. And we have a lot more slides here, Eddie, but I mean, if you want to tell the story of wealth migration, this is a good way to do it, right?
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Miami is, you know, it just this over $10 million sales is part of telling the Miami story. COVID was terrible, but for Miami, it led Miami into a new era. And the wealth, the shifts that are happening worldwide as it relates to wealth and talent, and really the gap between the wealthy and the poor is happening. And then there's a lot of political instability. And when all that instability is happening, Miami, even through COVID, was like the safe place everybody wanted to go. And that has really changed the dynamic for Miami. So I think this ultra luxury and the luxury boom in Miami will continue driving up the values in South Florida, particularly in that really high net worth category.
Yeah, definitely. And then I was just checking the chat. Thank you, Ellen, for the question. Yeah, I said to follow our chief economist, Gay Crowertone, and you could find her insights in her blog on our website.
All right.
So
Shout out to Ellen Mitchell, former
yeah,
Broward president,
yes.
former Broward Miami president. Good to see you on.
All right. And then, so let's talk about exactly what the points that Eddie was talking about are market fundamentals, what makes Miami different from LA or New York or Chicago. These are the points. Let's go through them. Population, continues to see it on the rise. International migration, nobody has these stats. Net new residents from other countries, Miami-Dade and Broward combined, that's a mind-boggling number, and far and away number one. And then I wanted to show these are some of the companies. We really should update this because there's a lot more that have come to South Florida, but Citadel, Blackstone, any of these companies, Eddie, that or isn't it amazing how Miami has you've talked about it, changed from more of a tourist destination to now like a fintech hub.
Oh yeah, it's a fintech. Yeah, I would say, you get a lot of the people from New York coming, a lot of the Midwest and Northeast companies moving here and doubling down on their investment, signing long leases, hiring more people and growing. That's a trend that I believe that we're going to continue to see happen for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right. And then, so this is a graphic we put together. Where are, when you're talking about just the United States, the feeder counties, we used to have the states. And then, I mentioned Gay Crortone. She's the one who got us this info here. These are the counties that are moving to Miami-Dade. So no surprise, number one, New York, then LA, and number three, Cook County, Chicago. So Eddie, the best way we're talking about leveraging, how could realtors use this to make more deals?
Well, I mean, it's great because we have through Matrix connections with a lot of these metros, and connecting your understand, letting your seller understand that being part when they list with you, because you're a member of the Miami Association of Realtors, you have access to this large network of realtors. I figured that I want to quote, I think the quote was the number is like 230,000 realtor members that we're connected to through the Matrix system now, through
I think,
Matrix
yeah, I
MLS.
think it's more than that now with
It's more
the
than that now,
recent,
yeah.
yeah.
And I don't know if you were at Rock the Market, but we just signed a Matrix agreement with um, the largest MLS in Florida. Um, and we are going to have access to all those listings all throughout Central Florida. So this is this is a way to help your seller understand that when you list with you, you're listing with all of this exposure. And not only do we have this local interstate stuff, but we also have 280 international partnerships that also are connected to our listings and our association. So this is a way to help expand your marketing and get those listings. Oh,
Yeah,
thanks for
great.
putting that up there, Chris. That's great.
Yeah, no, thank you. And then, yeah, great points. And so Miami reached a deal with Stellar MLS. So now our realtors have access. You could see the listings of Stellar MLS and vice versa. And there's more information on MiamiRealtors.com. And then also you want to see the Intramatrix, it's just MiamiRealtors.com/Intramatrix. And then you can see all the benefits that are included. All right, great. Okay, all right. Let's have a little bit of fun here.
I'd like to go back to that slide a second. One
Yeah.
more great way is when you're using Intermatrix, you can go into these markets and find out, like you can search the MLS. It's the same way you use Matrix, it's the same Matrix system. And you're in their MLS. You can find out who the top brokers are in the marketplace. Who are the top listing brokers? Well, guess what? When those guys are listing properties for sale, those buyers may be relocating to Florida. Good opportunity for you to reach out to those realtors and say, hey, I'm in the Miami market. I know that a lot of people are moving out from Clark County, Nevada into Miami, and I'm a Miami broker and I want to just make an introduction. That's a great way to start getting some feeder opportunities from these feeder markets into our South Florida market.
Yeah, great point. And then with Intramatrix, one of the big MLSs that are under this partnership is in California. So we have the largest California MLS. So that's yeah, do exactly what Eddie's talking about there. All right, so let's see who knows their Miami Global trivia. Um, we have a new question here, but the first one is what is the top foreign country purchasing in South Florida? All right, so if you could type that into the chat, we'll see who gets that first. And Eddie, do we have a prize for them or no, no.
The price is bragging rights.
The
So
prize is
far,
bragging.
that bragging rights. Yeah. So we got
Bragging, right? Yeah.
we got Colombia, we got Canada, Argentina, Colombia, Argentina, Brazil, Colombia. They're coming
Good
in.
guesses. Keep going. I haven't heard the correct one. Okay, so number two is what percentage of new construction? Because we recently in July 2025, we put together a new construction report. So, and if you haven't read that, you should. It's on our website. But what percentage of new construction buyers are from Latin America? And then number three is what percentage of Florida global real estate sales happen in South Florida? So thank you for all the, I see it lighting up there. Thank you so much. We're gonna see at the end, a little bit later, who got that correct and gets the bragging rights. Okay, so let's go over some of these new official stats that are being released to the media, but you guys are getting it first. Median price. Okay, so here's a history of Miami. We know that Miami is leader in home price appreciation. And so here are the stats. August 2025, single family is up. Condos are slightly down 1.2%. And then Eddie, I wanted to show realtors if they're not familiar with this special assessment program. Eddie, could you explain this program and how it could help, with all the new laws that went into effect?
Yeah, sure. So if first I got to say this is made possible by your Miami Realtor Pack. So this is when the special assessment started coming out as a result of the Surfside collapse, and everybody knows about that, right? So we have all these special assessment going out. We were able to talk to Miami-Dade County and get them to use some of their surplus funds, surplus tax funds, to allocate towards a condo owner, individual condo unit owner who had a special assessment passed onto them, and they didn't have the money to pay it. They can borrow up to I forget what the limit is, but the average they've done 1,200 of these loans, averaging $26,500. So you can get a loan from the county, a very, very low interest. I want to say it's zero or like 1 or 2 points, and it's over a 30-year period. So this is helping people that woman who can't that older retired woman or gentleman who can't afford that $20,000 assessment and is now forced to sell. Well, they can, if they are in Miami-Dade County, they can apply for this special assessment relief, get that money. It attaches to the property as a lien, but and it's a loan, but there's no big interest, and it makes it a lot easier for them to stay in the property. So definitely look into it more. It's a great product, and it's fantastic that we were able to get it done in Miami-Dade County. We are trying to work with Broward County to get something similar. Problem is that they don't have the same surplus tax that Miami-Dade County has.
Yeah. No, excellent. Yeah, I believe Miami-Dade is the only county in Florida that has this.
Yeah,
Um, and then shout out to our uh, chief of
Danielle
that.
Blake.
Yeah, Danielle Blake. And I was on a recent meeting with her, and she said that the program is currently paused, and she originally thought, oh, did the county run out of money? And that's not the case. They just want to, because there's a lot of paperwork, so they want to make it automated, and then it should be reopening soon. And then I remember her saying that when they reopen it again, they're going to target the senior citizens or the senior population will be getting that's a priority, I think, in the
It
future.
should be a priority for sure because
Yeah,
they're on fixed incomes.
yeah. So that's great. Okay, good. Okay, so here's a look at Broward. Single family is up, condos are down, price appreciation, and similar story in Palm Beach. But again, you have to take a look at the long view, and when you take a long view going back to 1995, Um, Eddie, I don't think there's another city that are it's hard to beat this price appreciation, right?
Oh yeah, it really is hard to beat it. And remember that real estate is a long game, not a short game. This is not a get rich quick scheme. It's a get rich slow, but you get rich in owning real estate. So that's the key. The play is a long play. I mean, even if you would have bought back in 2006 and seven, right before the market crashed and took these record low, record high, record low crash prices, right? Even if you would have bought then, look at the graph, you'd be up still. So it's a long game. You got to be in the game for the long time and not be scared of the news media. And that's why I'm talking about knowing that it's a long game and being a professional long term and learning to tell the story of real estate, learning to explain the value of owning real estate, how real estate you can buy, you can leverage like no other. You have huge tax benefits like no other. You have, depreciation expense, the amortization over 30 years, um, long-term appreciation, cash flow. I can go on and on. And what I love about real estate is if worse comes to worse, you can at least live in it. So you can't live in your Tesla stock.
That's true. I like it. All right, so Miami-Dade, and then we also have for Broward. And again, when you get this presentation, you'll be able to take a look at this at your leisure. But similar story, Broward. Here's Palm Beach. What about active listings? There's a lot. We're going to show you the stats later. Inventory is growing, but I do have to point out well, we'll get to it. New listings are down. But anyway, here's show you that we're still below the historical average. Um, but we're getting up there, which is good news. And then Eddie, I know you love this one here, so just go ahead. The floor is yours on this slide.
Yeah, this is something that really hit me. This slide shows what $1 million buys in square meters around the world. And I grew up in Miami, and these prices, when I look at these prices, I'm like, wow, how can anybody afford them relative to what I saw growing up? But when I've traveled now because of my leadership role in Miami Realtors to Dubai and to France, and when I talk to the people there, they see Miami as when you tell them that they can buy a waterfront condo for under $1 million, they can't get their head around that. They cannot believe that you can do that. And there's prices well below $1 million on the water, a condo on the water. So what we have here is very special, and when we have to remember that we are competing at a global level now. Miami is a global brand. We talked about Messi's being, FIFA is moving their headquarters to Miami, y'all. I mean, we're having the FIFA Cup here next year. There's so much going on for Miami. We have all the internet, F1's here now. So, all the sports that we have. I mean, it's just Miami's really incredible. And I think that we are gonna, when you compare it to Hong Kong or Singapore or Monaco, we're in America, we're in Florida, and we are Miami. I think our value is still well undervalued.
Yes. Well said. Excellent. Okay. And so this slide I always put in because there's always questions. Hey, prices have gone up for 13, 14 consecutive years. Is this going to be another, 2008? And there's so many reasons. Um, yeah, I think you've already touched on some, but I mean, Eddie, how would you sum that up? How would answer that question?
Listen, in a very selfish way, I almost, I've sold foreclosed properties since 2001. So 2008 was a year where most people didn't do well. I did very well. We sold a lot of foreclosed properties, and the truth of the matter is, that's just not going to happen again. And it's not going to happen for a lot of reasons. First of all, real estate led the last recession. Obviously, real estate is not leading this recession, and there's question about whether or not we even are in a recession. So the lending guidelines have changed. The outlook on everything has changed. The way they're able to process change. No, none of the banks want to find themselves back in that mess. There's technology like nowhere. I mean, remember in 2008, we were using fax machines. We were faxing documents to Bank of America to work out a short sale. Could you imagine? Like now there's just a click of the button. When COVID hit, it was 2 or 3 days before the banks had just a click of a button, you were able to get a forbearance program. So, I mean, just think about how that technology will shift. If people are having trouble paying and there is a recession, generally when it's not a real estate led recession, real estate holds up well when all the other markets aren't doing as well. So I'm very bullish on real estate overall. That's not to say that there might be a little bit of adjustment on price, and we're seeing some slowdown in the market. But that's no reason to sit on the sidelines for sure.
Yeah. And Eddie, if you are having trouble making your payments, you're still sitting on a lot of equity, right? That you could access.
No question. We're sitting on an unbelievable amount of equity. I've seen some of the slides that you've had before and provided before. The equity, I'm sure you could probably go into that, but the equity gaps are huge. So if anybody has some trouble, they can either get some forbearance help from their bank or put the house on the market and have it sold, and walk away with a lot of equity. So I don't really see this craziness of foreclosures. I will
Okay.
say that you should expect foreclosures to return to the pre-pandemic levels. They are historically low right now. They're at about 1%. Prior to COVID, they were around 3%. So you should expect foreclosure activity to pick up. So when you see the news rambling on about that, don't be paranoid. It's not that we're going towards another 2008. And I know there's a lot of people screaming that out loud, but I don't see it happening. And for all the reasons I've mentioned, and know that there probably will be an increase in foreclosure activity. That's just because the tightening of the regulations that were loosened up because of COVID.
Yeah, that's great to keep an eye on, and definitely I will be. That's great. Should be up to 3%. Okay. All right, closed sales. Let's take a look at closed sales. All properties Miami-Dade down 10%. Single family and condos. Let's go over Broward. It's interesting how the three counties follow a similar trend line.
Yep.
But again, when you're looking at closed sales, you really have to take the long view. And that these are just year-over-year numbers. And again, Eddie, when I was looking at the new pending sales, they're up across the board. I don't have that in here, but new pending sales are up. How much on a question for pending sales, how much time do you look? I guess how much money do you put into pending sales? How often do they become closed sales? Are they a good indicator
For,
of future
yeah,
sales?
for sure, pending sales are a perfect barometer for closed sales. I mean, the more pending sales you have, the more likely you're going to have more closed sales. You know, so there's no doubt about it. And look, I think it's important that when we look at these global numbers, I think it's very important. Like we're talking about a whole entire county. And as a real estate professional, it's incumbent upon us to know like the broad numbers, but really the consumer doesn't care about what's happening in Miami-Dade County. They care about what's happening in Coral Gables on Alhambra, where they have a condo for sale. That's what they care about. They don't care about the whole world. So our job is to know the micro markets as well, and we have some really cool tools available for that through Florida Realtors, the Miami Realtors data, all the way down to zip codes. Right, you guys, we put out some really good reports on that. So I would say that when looking at this, this is not super macro, but this is not micro enough for really to get a pulse of what's happening at the consumer level where they really care. And that is what you need to learn how to dig down and know, because that's what the consumers expect from us.
Yeah. Well, one of the favorite quotes and I always remember in talking with you that you said was when people ask you, how's the market? And you say, which one?
Which one? Right. That's right.
Yeah. All right, here's Palm Beach. And so, Eddie, thank you for the segue, perfect segue into tools to find out what's happening in your market, on your block. And this is one of the best ones that Natasha Tello had told us, but everybody should use Market Watch. Eddie, how often do you use Market Watch on Matrix?
It's funny. I generally don't use it, but the other day I took a snapshot of it and I shared it with my team. And I was like, okay, look, there's number of new properties came on the market, plus all the ones that came back on the market, plus all the ones that did price decreases, plus this is information that you need to, when you're going on a listing presentation, your seller needs to understand that we are not in 2022. And the buyers need to know that we're not in 2008. So, and knowing this data, you have to know how to not only understand the data, but sell the data, explain the story that's behind the data. And there's no question that there's more coming on the market than there is coming off the market right now. And you have to know how to price accordingly, and that's important. Look, watch your pendings, watch your active under contract. Talk to the agents that have listings active in the market. Find out what kind of activity they're getting, so you can help in your pricing.
Hey, Eddie, I wanted to ask you, I was at Rock the Market, and Jeff Glover, I remember his presentation, and
Yes.
he's based in Detroit, but he was saying that if I was a realtor in Miami, the first thing I would do is I would pull up the MLS and pull up all the expireds and go to every one of those expired, knock on doors, Is that a good strategy?
I just resubscribed to Mojo to go after a specific target within the expireds in a geographic area that I'm looking to do some acquisitions for a client of mine. And that's what I just did. I just downloaded Mojo, got the triple dialer, and I'm planning on uh, doing my calls myself, but also have a couple team members joining me for those calls. But yeah, absolutely. There's a ton of expireds coming on the market. I wouldn't try to call the whole county, but I mean that takes skill to learn. Don't expect you're going to call expires. They're going to be like, sure, come on over, list my house. They're not that nice. But learning the scripts and learning how to perfect your approach and being consistent is an interesting skill. And a lot of people try it for a little while and then they say, oh, it doesn't work. It's just like a diet. You don't just try it. You got to stick to it. And make it part of your life. So I think expires are a great expires and cancels are a great place to look for new business.
All right, good. And what is Mojo?
Mojo is a technology that's available. That is a phone dialer. You can say I want in this geographic location. I want to have all the expireds that have anything that's expired in my MLS. Or you can search a geographic area and say, okay, in this area, tell me who are all the absentee owners, people who don't currently live in this neighborhood. They own, but they don't live in this neighborhood. Or provide me a list of all the people who recently got notices of default for mortgages. So you have the list, you can just literally just go through and start calling. They run it against the do not call list. It's a cool tool. Um, uh, yeah.
Wow, that's super. I didn't know about this. Um, Interesting.
Yeah.
Let me
And
know in the
Miami
chat.
Realtors, we have a list of technologies that Liz Sturrock is working on that we're reaching out to all of these technology companies and saying, hey, we're Miami Realtors. We have 58,000 members. Can you get us discounts? Can you give us promotions? Can you show us, and we're working on building that list up and putting it on the what's that? I
Uh,
lost the name of it. What's that portal that
the
we call it when
dashboard, the
you
gateway.
the dashboard? Thank you, the dashboard, the
Yeah,
MLS dashboard. So you'll see that MLS dashboard is going to be changing, and on the bottom you'll have all those tools that have extra. They're not necessarily Miami tools, but they're maybe Miami has negotiated better pricing for our members.
great. Yeah, that's super interesting. That's great. Um, All right, so let's talk about some more tools. These are one that Eddie mentioned a little bit earlier, but let's go through them. These are free tools for Miami members. Are you using IMAP? Are you using SunStats? Are you using our zip code reports and RPR? Here is IMAP. Eddie, I've heard that. I don't know where would you rank? Obviously, the MLS is number one, but in terms of tools, is IMAP number two for you, or where?
Yeah, IMAP, no doubt. IMAP is number two. In fact, sometimes I run comps on IMAP. Another one I think that's way underutilized is of course, my brain's going to go sideways when I say it. RPR, yeah, RPR. So RPR is another fantastic tool. Yeah, the AI that they're incorporating in the RPR is just really cool. They have these neighborhood reports. Well, you have the. It's like if you're reading my mind. Yeah, they have neighborhood reports. They have these huge reports they do. You pop in an address and boom, it gives them. I mean, a couple of clicks and you have an awesome report that you can give to any customer.
That's awesome. And then your third favorite one must be SunStats.
Oh, I
Look,
use it every, no, I'm
I
not
even put
kidding.
Miami Lakes.
I use it every month. There's an organization I'm involved in and I provide regional stats to them. So they provide create a national report for the default space, for the mortgage default space. And I provide, and where I go to SunStats and I go to IMAP and then I go to a Gaze report. And sometimes when I put together presentations, I'll use some of your slides and your Miami overall global data stuff to help supplement the information that we're giving as to the why, right? Because people want to know the story behind why is sales up, why is sales down. Well, you have to explain the story that correlates with the data. So
Very
all that's
cool.
on,
Yeah.
on South Florida Market Intel.
Yes.
Shameless plug for you, Chris.
Yes, I really appreciate it. Um,
It's true though. I mean, I'm not just saying, I'm not just saying, this is factual. I do this.
Definitely. No, we really appreciate it. And I don't know if it came through, but I did a quick poll to see how many of you are using SunStats. Let's see. Oh, okay. Thank you, Eddie, for putting in that for the Mojo.
Sure, sure. Miguel asked for it.
Awesome. Okay, so dollar volume, sum of all sale prices. Where are we in August? 1.7 billion Miami-Dade, 1.2 in Broward, 1.4 in Palm Beach. Um, Eddie, these are mind-boggling numbers, and these doesn't include new construction, but this shows you the power of the industry that we're working in.
Yeah, so like you could like memorize some of this data. And so when someone asks you, you know, hey, how's the market? You could say, well, last month, we had $1.7 billion in sales. Wow. But what market are you interested in knowing more about? So, but having that little power punch, that's an awesome piece of data that you may not have known. Or you can do in the Tri-County. You could add that up and say in the Tri-County, we had over $4 billion in sales. That's crazy. That's a lot of money. I don't think anybody would realize that there's that much transactions happening in our Tri-County area.
Oh,
All
that's
you guys need
amazing.
to do is get 1% of that.
Just 1%, yes.
Who wants 1% of that every month?
Uh, that's great. Yeah, and thank you all for doing the SunStats poll. I see 11 are using SunStats, and then so and four will. So thank you for very interesting to know that. But yes, SunStats has every single city, every single zip code, and county in Florida, and it's very quick to create infographics.
Yeah, so you can if you have your database well managed and you have your people tagged like by zip code, or you can send an email out to the 7, 10, or 12 buyers that might be meddling around in a particular zip code, and you can send them a more meaningful email than saying, hey, you ready to go look for properties? You can say, hey, I just wanted to let you know that this is happening. Or you can send a quick text message with that infographic, use that data, that is a huge way to bring value. Can't tell you how much I've literally gotten business, big business from sending consistent, good value information to large corporations that specialize in the niche that I'm specialized in. But you can do that in any type of niche. Maybe you're talking about, maybe you want to focus on the divorce attorneys, right? But instead of calling a divorce attorney and saying, hey, if you have a divorce, let me know. I'd love to help their client. Say, hey, I know you're dealing in divorce. You're probably working with some people that are struggling with their house and trying to figure out their house values. Here's a nice report that might be helpful for you. That's a whole different approach, right? And not asking for anything in return, just giving value. So SunStats is great for that.
Yeah. And that's why this webinar is amazing because that type of advice you gave right there, it could help so many members make some more deals. Uh, yeah. All right, months of supply. So typically 6 to 9 months is a balanced market. That's what we've always used here at Miami Realtors. Less than 6 is a seller's, and more than 9 is a buyer's market. So obviously, when you look at the overall, it's a buyer's market. But like Eddie said, it's about knowing your city. What's happening in Coral Gables, what's happening on Alhambra. And here's a way to calculate it. So overall, Miami-Dade, 10.4 months, buyer's market, but single family is in a balance. Oops. Single family is in a, where is it? Balanced market, 6.4 months, and condos were at 14 months, buyer's market.
But again, man, I'm telling you, you see those condo numbers, you're like 14 months of supply. But let me tell you, there are condos that are flying off the shelf. The high price point, the new products, the stuff that's at a million, I'm sorry, 1,000 or $2,000 a square foot and above. Do a search in MLS and look at newer construction, 10 years or younger, and the price per square foot is over 1,000 square feet, and you will be boggled by that number is way off. I mean, the stats are way off. On the other side of that is if you go to like Century Village and you do a supply there, you're going to find way more supply than that. So you got to really understand that this is not a condo market. It's a very, very micro market. Every building is its own market. And you as a professional need to learn that and communicate that to your customers in a meaningful way. So they stop paying attention to the media headlines because no media headline takes it down to the macro, to micro. No one. They're all
Yeah.
talking, whatever they scare tactics they can come up with. Chris knows
Yeah.
about that.
Yes,
If
I
it
do.
bleeds, it leads, right, Chris?
It leads and leads. Yes, I know because I was on the other side. I was a reporter, so
I know. Well, you
I
came
was
from the
doing
dark
that.
side. We love you for that.
Um, and then as a reporter, one of the great things I love doing interviews and then just finding the best sound bites. And you just have one right there that is incredible. You said every building is its own market. We got to put that on a graphic. That's awesome.
All right.
I love it. Okay, so here's Broward overall 8.7 months, and Palm Beach 6.8 months. So we're in a balanced market. And condos is actually on the high side of the balanced market. And then so here we go. This is you could break it down further by price bucket. Um, and what I wish I could do better on this one or get the stats is, because a lot of our inventory is 1 million and more. So we need 1 million or 2 million and 2 million or 4 million and 5 million or 10 million to really tell the story. But Eddie, what's your take when do you look at it by price bucket like this at any time or?
Again, it's important to look at it by price market like this because again, your property that you're going to be listing in Hialeah on Palm Avenue is in a price bucket. And what's happening in Hialeah price points is very different than what's happening in Coco Plum price points. So you have to understand that. And so this is good to kind of give you a sense of where the market is. But again, this I could still consider this uh, uh, macro in the sense that these numbers would be very off if you went to if you narrowed it down to a geographic area or a property type. So property type, location, price point, uh, and then other factors, the age. There's so many of these, waterfront, not waterfront. So many variables, right? When you look at condos, the height, what floor it's on, what amenities it has, so many variables. So you really just got to know the micro. You got to really start to understand. And this is the data that really you cannot get on those portals, y'all. Everybody's scared of those big portals. Consumers can't get that level experience and knowledge and storytelling the way a human being can do it. AI still can't do it. So I'd say that this is our job. If you want to play this game, you got to practice the game. You got to know your data. You got to know your stats, and you got to get on the phone and make contact with people.
Yeah. And each of you made the correct decision, to be here right now and going over it and hearing this incredible analysis. You have a leg up on the competition.
No question, no question. And I said that to the people that were at Rock the Market. We have 58,000 members. We had 1,500 there, which was a fantastic turnout. But those 1,500 people and these people on the call today are getting information that is going to help expand their business. Good for you. Kudos.
Yes. And then this is touching on what Eddie just said a couple minutes ago. Okay, so overall in the county, it's 14 months of supply,
There you
but
go.
he's saying you have to know the micro, and here is the micro. These are the hottest markets by months of supply. And look at Kendall only has 6 months, so that's on the bottom of a balanced market. But any of these cities or that you'd like to talk about?
I know, yeah, I think that this speaks to the price points and the geographics of these markets. Most of the markets that are in the what I'm seeing here, a trend I see here, is that the lower price point, medium price points are going to be lower on these markets that are having, um, but not even because Coral Gables is pretty strong there at 7.4, and that's a very high price point. I would say that this goes back to the reason when I was telling you about knowing your market. Because if you picked up the phone and you're talking to a seller in Miami Gardens and you told them that Miami Garden, well, the market's a seller's a buyer's market, you'd be lying to them. You'd be lying to them because in Miami Gardens, it's a seller's market. So that's why you need to know the market.
Yes, you got another market. And then a great question by Kate. Thank you. She says, how can we get these price point data sets for each of the three counties? They are in our stats reports that we will be posting on sfmarketintel.com. So you could see single family detailed reports, and that will show the different price buckets. And then in addition, I can't say enough to use SunStats. SunStats also shows you the price information, and it's even better because you not just county, you could do by city and you could do by zip code.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, and MLS, the MLS has a lot of cool tools. I mean, if you want, Miami Realtors has MLS courses that are a little bit more on the advanced side, and you can attend. There's different level MLS courses, and you can attend where you can learn how to, you know, pick a geographic area, select, the type of property, select a square foot range, select a price range, and you can come up with your own data, and that can be very helpful as well. If
Yeah.
you're looking
Yeah,
for
that might,
something very unique that's not already in the data sets that are available.
yeah, and that might be the best option. At the end, I do have a slide on our trainers. You could email them a question. I have it later, but I believe it's trainers@miamire.com that they're great if you have any question on any product. But I'll show you that a little bit later. Here's a look at Broward, the hottest markets. And look at that, single family, only 4.1 months. Sunrise, 4.1 months of supply. And then here is Palm Beach. Again, Royal Palm Beach, 3.8 months. And on the condo side, Palm Beach Gardens, 6.1 months. All right, moving along. Active inventory. How many total active listings? So this is Eddie, we've been seeing this throughout the entire year, but earlier, I would say maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 months ago, it was at 35% increase year over year. Now, as you can see, it's a lot lower. And also new listings are down.
Mhm.
So could we have seen like the top of the inventory? Now the inventory is going
It
to be coming down?
it feels that way. I mean, the numbers are trending down. That report I've been doing monthly for the conglomerate that I was talking about. That's exactly what your graph here shows is exactly that. Like the acceleration of new listings on the market and inventory was going up, and it looked kind of whoa, and then all of a sudden new listings started coming down, and then the total number of listings has started to come down. So here the numbers are there. I mean, that's what I'm seeing too.
Okay.
Someone wants you to go back 2 slides.
Yeah, I'm
Someone
looking at that. iPhone wants me to go back. Okay, two
customize
slides.
this presentation for them. Boom, boom. There you go. Oh,
Which one is it? This one here?
I think
Oh,
that's 2 slides. That one's 2 slides. Yeah. I hope
okay.
that's it.
iPhone, is this what you're looking for at Palm Beach? Anyway,
Yeah.
iPhone,
The
send me your
slides are there.
email.
You put your email in. If you're an iPhone user, you put your email in, and we'll send you. Chris will send you the deck.
Yeah, I'll get it to you. Okay, so we did active inventory. Okay, so this is recapping new listings down. We got a Fed rate cut, maybe two more at the end of the year. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Well,
Uh,
exactly. I'm telling you, man. I hear all this talk about the cuts and all these people. I'm just like, don't even pay attention to the market. Just go out there and make contact, smile, make contact with people, ask them what they want to do in real estate, and help them make a decision. Some people will, some people won't. So what? Just keep going, you know. But if you're waiting for, okay, now the interest rates are good. Let me go make some phone calls. Let me go contact with people. That's no good. That's not our business.
yeah, no, that
I'm
that's
a
the attitude you need. Yeah.
I'm a low interest rate realtor. No, I got to sell it when it's high, sell it when it's low, sell it when it's dated, sell it when it's new, you know?
You won't last if you're a low interest realtor. I
No,
mean, we're
no,
not
no.
going back to 2% or 3%.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, global trivia. Let's see. The
Oof,
first
we got a
question
lot of answers.
was, what was the top foreign country purchasing in South Florida? The answer is Lionel Messi, Argentina. And
Aha.
I did see someone did put that in. I got to go back. There were some really good guesses in Colombia, Canada.
Argentina, Debbie Lackman looks like the first one to answer
Debbie,
Argentina.
winner, winner, Debbie. Thank you, Debbie. Yes, Argentina.
You get a thumbs up there, Debbie. Congratulations. You got bragging rights.
I'll give you a thumbs up too. Thank you, Debbie. But anyway, if you guess Colombia is pretty close. I mean, you could see 14% versus 18%, and also Canada. So great guesses. Thank you guys. And then what percentage of Florida, I'm sorry, Miami new construction, this is just new construction from Latin America, is 49%. I'm not sure if anybody guessed that, but Eddie, this graphic that we posted that went with the report is the most viewed graphic that Miami Realtors has ever put on social media. This, can you believe it or not, this graphic got 500,000 views. It's amazing.
I want to say something about that. I gotta give kudos to Teresa Kinkini and all the new developers that partnered with us. They're all there. Severa, One Sotheby's, Serant, IG World, and then because this is about, it's fantastic because the news was, talking about the market and all the condos and all this stuff, and we said, Teresa, got together because of her reputation in the marketplace, was able to get the trust level from all these developers to give us the data on their sales so we can put this report together. That's a little bit about how the sausage was made. But the outcome for you guys, our Miami Realtors, is a ton of media coverage that went around the world was talking about this. Thanks to Chris and his team, fantastic outcome. And this is what we do. We're not just an MLS where you log in. We are the voice of Miami real estate. We're constantly out there. Chris and the team and Teresa Kinkini and our amazing professionals are working diligently to keep our Miami Realtors and Miami as a market. And I say Miami, I mean the whole Tri-County market because it's an MSA. People in Italy don't know what, Coral Gables is. They call it Miami. They don't know what Palm Beach County is. They call it Miami. Everything to them, Southeast Florida, is Miami. So when I say Miami, I mean the Miami brand. And just kudos to you, Chris, and the team. And just know you as a Miami Realtor that's here, that's listening to this, find the article, share that news, share the good news. Because when you're positive and about the market and you're excited and passionate about what you're doing, people are attracted to you and they want to do business with you. So I'd say go out there and spread this good news. Help us get the word out.
Oh, thank you so much, Eddie. That means a lot. And I do have to say that the reason what started the report was there was an article that came out in the media saying that Latin Americans are not buying uh, in South Florida, and it was Teresa led the charge. She did an incredible job. She put together these developers, so it was amazing.
Yeah.
All right, and the last question, what percentage of Florida global real estate sales are made in South Florida? And we talked about our CEO. This is her favorite graphic in the global study. It's 49% happen in South Florida. And it's always crazy how I look at, okay, number two is Orlando, but look at the difference, 49% to 11%. That's not close.
Well, we got to give a shout out to Zora on that one. She got the 49% of the last. Didn't you ask the last question? You asked the second question. Zora got that one right, 49%.
Zora, all right.
All right, cool. Good job on that one. I don't think
Congrats, Zora.
anybody
Yeah,
got this one right. The last question.
that was the hardest one.
That's a hard one. Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, so let's recap tools and resources. Uh, let's see. So we talked about SunStats, and actually, I want to look at the poll. I thought that was interesting. We got 14 people, 14 members using SunStats, 7 are not, and then 4 plan to. So that's good news. SunStats, definitely that I believe is a must. SunStats, and then we have free co-branding marketing at miamirealtors.com/co-brand. We have Miami Fortify, which is an app that we have loaded with 1,000 templates that make it easy. You see how our members are, Arlene Davis Flagel, she's one of the superstars. You can see she puts her headshot information and her company logo, and you share this. It's free for Miami members. That's Photify. Then okay, there was a question here about, can I get the price buckets? This is what I was talking about, the stat reports. So when you go on sfmarketintel.com, look for, this is what you got to download. And then we have our market focus infographics or videos that you're going to see on social media. We have zip code and city reports that come out every quarter. Eddie talked about RPR. These are the trainers. Eddie made a great point about MLS classes. Send them an email, trainers@miami-dade.com. Also, classes are posted on our website.
And our
All right,
YouTube
Eddie,
video,
so,
our YouTube has a bunch of those classes there too. You can just watch the videos.
there you go. The trainers have a very good YouTube channel, yes. And then lastly, our cross-market data. So this is what markets are looking at Miami listings. This is from Realtor.com. No surprise, New York. And then you got DC number two, but there's just another great ways that members could leverage, right? To do more business.
Yep.
That's Miami, and then here's Broward. And then Palm Beach really takes off with all the New Yorks. All right, so here's Eddie's information. If you should follow him on Instagram, but here's his website. I'm sorry, his email. And then here's my email. Here's our social media. Eddie, we're at 301, so that's great. Eddie, any thank you so much. Any final takeaways you want to leave everybody with?
No, I want to just thank you, Chris, for the opportunity, and thank you for all the work you do at Miami Realtors. Thank you for all our members at Miami Realtors for being on and watching. And I'd love for you to take this great information you've learned today, go apply it, and share the good news. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you everybody, and thank you for all the comments on the chat. Thank you for being here, and have a beautiful Tuesday, and we'll see you next time. Thank
Ciao.
you.